Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Heather Lewis, and today we are going to be working on this 4-drawer dresser that I got off of Facebook Marketplace for $45. Like with most makeovers, I am starting this off by taking off the hardware. I have decided that I am going to be keeping this hardware just because I feel like it's not too outdated and I really love the style. I was able to take these circle knobs off really easily, practically with just my hand. They kind of just screwed off, but as far as the lower hardware pieces go, I did have to take out my drill and help me aid in unscrewing those. Now you may have noticed that this is the second piece to that lowboy dresser that I had done just about a week ago. I am not making this a set. Instead, I'm going to be making these two completely different styles and pieces. After the hardware was off and put in a safe place to use later, I started by sanding this piece in a 120 grit. I wanted to make sure that I was preparing it for paint because we are not going to have to prime this piece. Now is a good time to hit that like button and make sure that you are subscribed if you are not subscribed yet. We do a lot of furniture flips over here, and most recently we are doing some moving content as well, as I am moving to a new location. Liking and subscribing does go a long way for my small channel. We are almost at 2,000 subscribers, which is so amazing since we've started this channel just about a year ago now. If you're a regular viewer here, I think you know what's coming up next, and that is cleaning the piece. You also probably know what I'm using. I am using Dawn dish soap with warm water. You want to make sure that you also go back and rinse it with just regular water afterwards, because you don't want to leave any of that soap residue left behind when it comes time to paint. After the piece was clean and mostly dried off, I then took out the drawers to get ready to paint. You can take out the drawers pretty much any time. I just decided to do it now for this video. Now that all the prep work is done, we are ready to paint, and I'm going to be using farmhouse paint today. And my idea for this is we are going to be doing a color meshing technique. So the base is going to be cotton white. I have that paint here. It's just a really beautiful white color. And then with the color meshing, I'm going to use this lamb's wool applicator and kind of tap in some of that Palace gray, and it's going to make a really cool color meshing technique. But first we have to get all of the cotton white on because this dresser is very clearly brown. You do not need to use a primer or top coat for this paint because it is an all-in-one paint. Now this cotton white color is just your typical very bright true white color, and I really do love the application of it. If anything, the only thing that was kind of killing this project right now was this brush, and you'll see that I do switch it out later. I do like these small brushes, but I picked up this dark blue handle instead of the light blue handle that I typically do, and for some reason this brush was just so stiff, whereas the light blue brush is just not stiff at all and it works wonders. So you will see me switching out the brush, but I did actually really like how this paint was going on. Now, anytime you are going from very dark to very light, you are going to have to expect to have several layers of paint on there for full coverage. But I will say that this paint only required 3 coats, and that is kind of a miracle, especially without primer as well. After the cotton white was completely dry and I had full coverage, I started preparing my Palace gray. Now we are doing a color meshing technique, so I did take this paint and I mixed it with a 50-50 ratio of water. You want to make sure it's more watered down so that you can definitely manipulate the paint a little bit more. But basically what I've done is I've watered it down and now I'm brushing it onto the dresser, and I'm going to use that lamb's wool applicator to kind of tap into the dresser to give it a really cool effect. If you've ever heard of the Woolly tool that you can find off Amazon, this product is a very similar product to it. Now, some tips to make sure that your technique is on point. You want to make sure that the lamb's wool applicator is always dry, so anytime that you feel like it's too wet, make sure you grab that paper towel or an old cloth and kind of wipe it back to dry it up. And if you notice that the paint also isn't moving around as much as you'd like, go ahead and take your spray bottle, or mister bottle would be really good for this, and just kind of spray it on there and it'll manipulate a lot better. Usually I won't play the whole recording of one step because it does get a little bit long, but I'm gonna let you guys watch the whole thing, just the top of the dresser, so that you can really see kind of when you need to do what to get this type of look. For this project, I made the decision to do this color meshing technique on the entirety of the dresser, but some people do like to only do it in certain spots to kind of elevate the look a little bit. I did it on everything and I think it turned out really well.
Now this angle I wanted to make sure to actually put in here because I think it was one of the best angles, the brightest. You could really see what was going on. And soon you will see that I had a pretty harsh line here, and you're going to see what I mean by taking the water bottle and kind of using it to manipulate hard lines. So you can see just about right there, it's hard for the lamb's wool applicator to actually grab onto it, and you'll see that it was such a harsh line that I was able to take the water bottle and fix that. I continued this same exact process on all 4 of the drawer fronts, making sure to tap in all of the paint and also wiping off the excess with a paper towel so that the lamb's wool applicator wasn't too wet at all times. You want to make sure it is dry as you can keep it for the majority of the time. I did do this process for the entire dresser, and I decided to get those drawers back in so I could give it an all-around look. I did see that there were just a few spots that were a little too gray for me, so I did take that cotton white color, mixed in 50% paint, 50% water, and went in and did the same exact color meshing technique. Now I do realize it is really hard to see this design while you're not here in person with me, so I'm trying to do it really up close to show you what it is that it's looking like, but now it's time to get into the final reveal.